Good morning. Today is October 15th, and I leave London on the 23rd for an unclear amount of time. I will definitely be back in the area over Christmas and New Year's because I spend Christmas with my partner's family, and then we'll probably come back to London for New Year's to spend it with our friends. But until then, I'll be bouncing all over the place between Luxembourg, Germany, Ireland, and then back home in California. So my goal for the next week before I leave is to read as many of my physical books as possible. As you may or may not know, for someone who's basically nomadic, I have far too many books. So I'll show you my shelf of physical books that I have here. There are some of these that I know I won't be getting rid of. I have 4 books that I've already read that are favorites and that I've annotated. I literally just underline and write random things in the margins. I'm not one of those aesthetic, very organized annotators, but the 4 books that I know I won't be unhauling are Agua Viva by Clarice Lispector, Bel Canto by Anne Patchett, The Last Devil to Die by Richard Osman, and The Pier Falls by Mark Haddon. Besides those, I have 30 physical books that I need to either travel with or get rid of. So my goal for the next week is to read as many of my physical books as I possibly can. Now, that's not going to be all I'm reading. I also always have an audiobook going and often have something going on my Kindle, but if I can get the audiobook of one of my physical reads, that would be ideal so that I can be going through the books that I have even if I'm not reading them physically. So I just wanted to take you along for the next few days as I try to whittle down this collection as much as possible. I'm also getting a tattoo touched up today and then getting a new tattoo on Tuesday. So thought I would take you along for that as well. I'm starting off doing the exact opposite of what I said because last night I started a book on my Kindle. I started The English Understand Wool by Helen DeWitt and got about halfway into that already. It's very, very short, but I'm really liking it so far. It's written in a very detached way, and that's the point. Let's back up here and I'll tell you what it's actually about without spoiling things because I had no clue what this was going into it at all, and I've been enjoying that. So, very bare bones explanation. This story is about the daughter of very rich parents who focus a lot on how one looks in society. So it's basically just this girl growing up in this family, in this context, and then maybe finding out that everything isn't as it seems. I enjoy the way that this is written because it's kind of written in 3 different manners. There's this girl telling the story of her life. There are email exchanges that she has with someone, and you understand why she's having those a little bit later. And then there's the present day, what's actually happening in the moment. And it all moves very, very quickly because it's such a short book. Right now it seems to be commenting on the media and how the truth is sometimes stretched to tell a good story. So that's interesting. So I'm going to bring that to my tattoo appointment today. And then I'm also going to bring The Binding by Bridget Collins because it's a chunky book on my shelf and it also seems like it might have kind of autumnal vibes. This is a book that I picked up when I was near the Forest of Dean for the weekend, and the synopsis is Emmett Farmer is a binder's apprentice. His job is to handcraft beautiful books, and within each to capture something unique and extraordinary, a memory. If you have something you want to forget or a secret to hide, he can bind it, and you will never have to remember the pain it caused. In a vault under his mentor's workshop, row upon row of books and secrets are meticulously stored and recorded. Then one day, Emmett makes an astonishing discovery. One of the volumes has his name on it. The blurbs talk about it being magical and spellbinding and gothic, which is, all things that I want in October. So those are the 2 that I'll be working on today. I think I'll be able to finish The English Understand Wool and hopefully get a good chunk into The Binding because when this tattoo was done, it took 6 hours. And the reason it already needs a touch-up is because after that session, my skin got too swollen to do all of the fine details that my artist wanted to do. So she's just doing those parts right now. So I don't think it should take more than like an hour and a half, but who knows? We will see. And then I'll also take you along to my tattoo appointment on Tuesday. And yeah, so that's my plan.
used to letting you go. A fickle heartbeat.
Hi. So I just got back from my tattoo. Oops. I also just bent the page of my book. And I started the binding while I was there. I'm now about 20% into it, on page 84. I don't know how I'm feeling about this book so far. I'm still intrigued by the premise, but our main character, Emmett, just found out what bookbinding is and what it's used for, and hasn't even found the book with his name on it yet, and we're 20% of the way in. So on one hand, it feels like the action hasn't really started, but on the other, the first few chapters felt like they were skipping through time really quickly. Like, he arrives at the place where he's supposed to bind books, and he doesn't know anything about it. Initially, all we know is that books are frowned upon. We don't know why. So he's surprised when his parents send him to be the apprentice for this binder. That's all in the first, 2 chapters, which is over the course of 24 hours. And then the next chapter is over the course of weeks. And Emmett tells you that he's learning how to bind these books and getting more comfortable in the house that he's in and with his mentor, but you don't see any of it. It's really glossed over, and so I guess I feel like it's a little bit bare bones. I'm missing the atmosphere of the bookbinding shop and watching him improve, because we're just being told that he is doing things and is improving. So I'm not loving the writing style so far. Again, we're 83 pages in and the main plot hasn't even started. So I'm just a little confused about where we're going and what we're setting up. So unsure how I'm feeling so far. I didn't finish The English Understand Wool because I think I'm gonna read that tonight before bed. And that's all I've got for you.
I'm your vanity, like a rock, but still I try so hard to be something I'm not. So show me love and I will show up. Prove me wrong, this time you won't stop.
Hi, I just got back from work and I'm exhausted, but I have some reading updates. So first things first, I DNF'd the binding. I was trying to read it at work. I think I got to page 100 and it still felt like nothing was happening, or I just didn't care about anything. A new character is introduced who is unlikable, but I think you're supposed to eventually like them. But I was incredibly bored whenever they appeared on page. And then something shocking and dramatic happens, and I felt nothing. So I figured I should just quit before I invested too much time into a 500-page book. So I did. I put it at the little free book section at the hostel I work at. And then I went and checked out the video that I took of my bookshelf before to see which physical books I own that I could try to get from my library. So even though I didn't bring any other physical books to work with me, what I could start listening to on audio. And I ended up getting Last Night at the Telegraph Club from my library. So I started reading that, and I'm really liking it so far. I love the writing, and especially because I grew up near San Francisco and I lived in San Francisco for 2 years. I am just really enjoying the descriptions of the city, even though it's from the 50s. I still love that I know the areas they're talking about and the vibes and the communities that are there. So I made it to chapter 6, which is page 48. So I'm a little over 10% in. And again, I'm really enjoying it. This is about a Chinese American girl, Lily, who lives in San Francisco, and she's kind of coming to terms with her queer identity. We've met who she forms a relationship with, but they haven't started anything besides just being classmates yet. I want to read it physically in tandem with the audio because I want to hear the Cantonese words pronounced correctly. But in the book, there's also translations and footnotes where they translate the meanings. And in the book, it's written in Cantonese. I don't know if you can see that, which I obviously can't read, and so I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced. So I like hearing it because I can hear it pronounced correctly. So I think this is a book that I might read in tandem. Yeah, so one more book is off my shelf and working my way through another. My problem with this is I think I might really like it, and then I won't want to get rid of it. So we'll see how that goes.
I'm your vanity, like a rock, but still I try so hard to be something I'm not. So show me love and I will show up.
Good morning. I'm in a new spot. Well, same house, new room. Welcome to my kitchen. It's gonna be very echoey in here, but I'm hungry, so we're just gonna deal with that. What did I want to tell you? Okay, last night I finished The English Understandable by Helen DeWitt on my Kindle before I went to sleep. And I really liked it. It kind of just carried on the same vibes as before, and I really liked the ending and the agency that the main character had. I thought she was a badass, and I liked that she was kind of like, take no shit from anybody. So I gave that 4 stars. Would highly recommend. It's really short. It's a really easy, quick read. I could have read it probably in like an hour or 2, but I just split it over like 2 nights before bed. So yeah, that was really good. And I made a few more pages into Last Night at the Telegraph Club. I would hold it up, but you're on it right now, so I'm not going to do that. Still enjoying it, still liking the audiobook, and then also looking forward to reading more of the physical book. My other goal for the week, not the day, is to finish. I'm using a letter from the government as my bookmark. About my taxes. Oh. The government owes me £45. I should deal with that. But I really want to finish Near to the Wild Heart before I leave. I've been in the middle of this for months, and I honestly just haven't picked it up in a long time. I've now read 2 things by Clarice Lispector. Earlier this month, I finished Daydreams and Drunkenness of a Young Lady, I think is what it's called. It's in the other room, which is like a little short, it's 3 short stories in one of those little penguin mini classic things. And I enjoyed that as well, not as much as Agua Viva. Agua Viva was 5 stars, that was 4 stars. I'll tell you more about it in this month's wrap up. But this one has been harder for me to really get into. Jo from Jo's Journey, she's reading all of Clarice Lispector's books and letters and everything in publication order, I believe, which is awesome. And she also mentioned that this one is harder for her to get into. So that makes me feel better. I'm gonna try to say less. I cut it out in these videos, but I do say it a lot. And I'm trying to reduce the amount of filler words I use. But that just leaves very long pauses. So that's another thing I'm working on. Welcome to my brain in the morning. But yeah, before I leave, I want to finish Near to the Wild Heart. As much as I would love to like have all Clarice Lispector's books, so far this is not one that's pulling me in enough that I would keep it. So it would be nice to be able to declutter that. Yeah, and now I'll just make breakfast and continue listening to Last Night at the Telegraph Club.
You go your way and I will go mine, 'cause never will I ever be blinded by love again. Jen calls crying, she's lost. Met her ex and now she's back to the start. I gave her my days.
Hello. You are getting another post-work update, another exhausted update. I'm making a cup of tea in this cute little mug. It's beautiful, but it's too small. So I will probably have to have a few cups. And I just made peppermint paradise, peppermint tea, so that I don't get caffeinated at midnight. Okay, so the update that I have for you is that I finished Last Night at the Telegraph Club. Wait, let me go get it, hold on. Here it is. I really loved it. It was so good. There's something holding me back from giving it a 5-star, but I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5, which is still obviously amazing. Would highly recommend. My mom grew up in San Francisco in the 60s and 70s, and then I lived in San Francisco for 2 years. And I know that it's one of the few cities in the US where there are still lesbian bars, but I didn't know about how historical they were. I also just loved to be immersed in San Francisco again and talking about the feeling of the fog and the smell of the fog and Ocean Beach and Sutro Baths and all of these places that I've been a million times and seeing it through a new set of eyes. It's all from Lily's perspective, so it's mostly her figuring out her feelings, her desires, who she is, both as someone who's realizing that she's queer and also as a Chinese American in the US during the Red Scare and the start of the Cold War, and dealing with the intersection of her communities and her identities. The one thing that I was disappointed in was the ending. I wanted a little bit more from it and to just pause on those big moments. It felt like it wrapped up really, really fast, and I wanted more of an exploration of how Lily was feeling during that time. I think it would have been really interesting. But yeah, as far as this goes, really good. My only issue is now I want my mom and my sister to read this, and they want me to bring it to them in the US, but I don't have room. So I think I'll end up leaving it here, but that's one more down on the list. And my next goal, as I said earlier, is to read more of Near to the Wild Heart. And then I also maybe want to start Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier, because I have that physically, and it's a gothic fiction, so it would be very vibey right now. The only issue is I got it in like a little box set, also at a charity shop, and the other two from the box set are in Luxembourg, so I can't see myself wanting to leave this one or declutter it unless I really, really don't like it. I'll have to think on that. Let's go see my options. Okay. I'd say I have 4 real options right now. 2 of them I think I wouldn't unhaul. One of them I think I would unhaul, but I don't know if I'm in the mood for it. And one I don't know if I'll be able to finish before I leave because it's dense. So the 2 that I'm interested in starting but don't know if I'll want to unhaul are Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier. After the death of her mother, Mary Yellen crosses the windswept Cornish moors to Jamaica Inn, the home of her aunt Patience. There she finds Patience, a changed woman, downtrodden by her domineering, vicious husband, Joss Marilyn. Mary discovers that the inn is a front for a lawless gang of criminals and is unwillingly dragged into their dangerous world of smuggling and murder. Despite herself, she becomes powerfully attracted to a man she dares not trust, Joss Merlin's brother. Before long, Mary will be forced to cross her own moral line to save herself. It just sounds good. Option 2 is Devil in the White City by Erik Larson. And this is a nonfiction that Books and Mala has just sung the praises of so much. Devil in the White City is about the 1893 Chicago World's Fair and the cunning serial killer who used the fair to lure his victims to their death. I mean, it sounds very in the autumnal October vibe, but again, I've heard such good things about it that I'm afraid that I wouldn't want to declutter it. The book that I think I would be okay decluttering, just because I believe it's young adult, or if it's not, it's definitely more lighthearted, and books like that, even if I really love them, they don't always impact me as much, and that's Hench by Natalia Zena Walshots. And this is about basically the secretary for supervillains. And like, maybe they fall in love. I don't know if I've just been hearing too much about like enemies to lovers, but I felt like that was part of this. It seems like it would be the quickest read of all of them, and the one that was most likely for me to declutter after. But again, I just don't know if I'm in the mood for it. And my final kind of wildcard option, but I just don't think that I would be able to finish it in time, is Babel by R.F. Kuang. But I do know that October and autumn is very dark academia time, and this is like the dark academia book of the last few years. And I haven't read that much. Like, I haven't read, what is it, by Donna Tartt? The book, you know, the one by Donna Tartt. What is it called? You know what it's called. Or like a lot of the dark academia that's been pitched. I've read the Golden Enclave series, and I read the Atlas Six. But besides that, I can't really think of any. So this would be kind of wild card. The thing is that I know it's very dense, and it's over 500 pages, and I'm working the next 3 days. And so I just don't know if I would finish it. I think realistically I'm choosing between Hench and Jamaica Inn. So we'll see. But yeah, that's my update for the night. Now I'm gonna get ready and go to bed because I work at 7 a.m. So.
She did the same but couldn't change my mind. And as soon as you, I forget about it. As soon I get used to letting you go. So show me love and I will show it. Prove me wrong, this time you will stop. Or you go your way.
Hi, I'm back from work. I have another cup of tea in a new cup. This one is something about Scotland's genius. Nice. And I have a few updates for you. I'm eating like a mid-afternoon snack. It is corn cakes and peanut butter, honey, and strawberries because I'm officially at that point of like right before you travel where I just have random stuff in my cupboard and fridge right now that I need to use before I leave. So I'm trying not to buy anything and I'm just making random meals. So. I mean, it's delicious. Nothing can go wrong here. But I have two updates for you. My first update is that I started Hench at work and I just immediately knew it wasn't the time that I wanted to be reading it. And I can't picture myself reading it soon. And it's not a book that I care so much about that I need to have it in my collection. If I do eventually want to read it, I can just pick it up from my library. So I ended up just putting it in the free book area at work. And then instead I started Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier. Today I got a good chunk of the way in. I'm on page 108, chapter 8. And I'm having such a good time, and it's making me so happy to be reading Daphne du Maurier again. The gothic vibes are very present, and it's perfect for this time of year. Daphne du Maurier builds atmosphere so incredibly. That's, I think a main part of her books. Over plot, over even like character development. It's all atmosphere and vibes, and it's exactly what I need right now. It's pretty much what it says on the tin. Mary Ellen moves to be with her aunt and her uncle by marriage in Jamaica Inn after her mother dies, because it was just her and her mother. And immediately when she meets Joss, who is her aunt's husband, he's just a bad dude. He's like abusive and controlling and an alcoholic. And as she spends more time there, she realizes that it's more than him being a bad guy. There's some evil going on here, smuggling, and it's very piratey, and there's not much happening. She honestly just spends a lot of time wandering through the moors and cleaning this old inn, and it's very dark and spooky and gothic, and I'm having so much fun being back in Daphne du Maurier's writing. It's just impeccable. Her books are so evocative that whenever I'm reading, I come out of it and it feels like I have just been watching a movie or a TV show. And that itch that I used to get all the time to go back to my books right away, and now I think has been kind of transferred to my phone a lot of the time. That automatic desire to, when you get a message or when you get bored, to go to your phone and entertain yourself there. That's what I'm getting for this book, which is exactly what I look for when I'm reading now, is that pull to go back. And it's happening with this. There are times where, I'll be doing something else and I'll know there's something waiting for me to entertain me. And usually that's my phone or like YouTube, and now it's this book. And so whenever I have a spare moment, even on the bus, anytime, I'm opening this and reading it and getting so immersed in the atmosphere and the vibes, and I'm loving it. And it's so, she's the perfect author for October. She's like October, November vibes, You want it to be really fall and almost winter and feel that chill in the air. You don't want it to be like early fall and nice and leaves are changing color and it's so beautiful and you're apple picking. No, it's like dark and misty and shitty weather and your nose gets cold and you just want to be inside all the time, you don't want to go outside, that is the type of autumn that Daphne du Maurier writes for. Although, this is in the early 1900s, so most people are going places by horse or carriage, and they keep talking about riding places and these grown men riding places and then describing their mounts as ponies. So it talks about how, like, Joss, who's the uncle, and he's supposed to be this big, imposing man. Not only is he aggressive in his manner, but also in his size and his strength, stuff like that. And then it talks about him swinging a leg over his pony, and all I can picture is this grown man on a tiny pony. So, I'm gonna continue. So Mary is getting to know Joss's brother, and I don't like him because he's a dick, but their banter is really good. And it's kind of like, I don't know, they just get on each other's nerves and bicker in a really cute way. And I don't want to like him because he's a dick. And he's like, so far it seems like kind of a bad guy, but I do like them. And I'm interested to see where it goes, because as much as I don't want to, I do like them. I'm back in the kitchen because I've been working on this bookish Halloween costume video idea that I had like weeks ago, and the prep is just taking me so long because instead of just telling you about the costume and then putting up like a reference photo, I've decided to pull multiple individual pieces for each element of each costume, and there are over 20 costumes. So it's taking way longer than I expected, but now it's 7:30 and I'm hungry again. So I'm gonna make another weird what's left in my fridge dinner and continue watching Becca and the Book's latest Shelve It or Scrap It, because it's 2 hours long, which is amazing. And don't worry, I did bring all of the cups back from my room, and I will wash them and put them back in the cupboard where they belong, and no one will be any the wiser. I also made it about halfway through Jamaica Inn now, still loving it. Mary's getting closer with her uncle's brother, Jem, and they're about to go on like an adventure together. And he's supposed to be the love interest, so we'll see where it's going with that. I do like it so far. What else? Yeah, I guess that's it. Okay, well, Jem is being a dick again, so now I don't support, and I hope he dies at the end. That's all.
Everything in life feels very frightening, and I love so much that I longer don't know why. So my mind, every thought I have undone. But it's like I know might just meet some guy and cry a little. Help me, I need a good advice. Please don't say no, be my hero. You can tell me lies, please don't cut these ties. Need a hero, 'cause I got zero.
Yeah, that's all. And Spanish, how to manage. I mean, I was talking to her like today, like, are we speaking to that kid?
Whining so hard, I think life's all about me. And it's hardly even snow, but I stay inside like it's the ice age. I need you to dry my face. Look how I behave, and all the mess that I made. But I did really do my best, breaking down my neck, and it's me to blame.
You're back in my cupboard and you're propped against a kiwi. These are my new obsession. I know I could make it myself, but when I'm running out the door and I want something fun to drink and I don't want to spend £5 on a coffee, pick up one of these, which I won't have to do anymore because today was my last day of work. And now I can't open this. That noise is annoying, but we're gonna deal with it. So as I mentioned, I'm temporarily maybe moving back to the US. I'm gonna be there for like a month and then hopefully come back to the UK or Europe. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. You can't expect me to know. I am just a baby. So today was my last day of work, which is nice. And now I have 2 days to chill and pack and stuff before I go to Luxembourg. Ooh, silence. Yeah, I'm getting my tattoo tomorrow. I never showed you my other tattoo because it's a little bit of a hard place to show on the internet because it's on my hip. I'll insert a picture, maybe I already have, of my tattoo before the touch-up from over the summer. But I have updates for you because the whole point of this video is me trying to get books off my physical TBR that I have here so that I don't have to travel with them. And I've done a pretty good job at that. I have unhauled 2 books that I DNF'd, which was The Binding and Hench. And then I ended up unhauling last night at the Telegraph Club. I just left it at work today. And at work today, I finished Jamaica Inn, and I also left that at work, which means that I'm 4 books off my physical TBR. Yeah, update on Jamaica Inn. I finished it. It was deliciously gothic to the very, very end. Just immaculate atmosphere, always, always, always. It was so good. The ending wasn't like my favorite way that it could have ended, but I'll forgive it because the vibes were incredible the entire time. And honestly, when I'm reading Du Maurier, I don't really read it for the plot. Yes, her books have plots that are interesting and I like to get to know the characters and the relationships and the dynamics, but a lot of it is just for the atmosphere. So I ended up giving it 4 stars. I like Rebecca better, but I still really, really enjoyed it. Last night I was saying that I liked Jem. I changed my mind. I've decided that I don't like him and he is not worthy of our heroine. But yeah, I would highly recommend Jamaica Inn if you've read any of Du Maurier's books and you like her writing and her atmosphere. It's the perfect fall read, perfect like Halloween read as well. Until like the last chapter, I thought that I was going to keep it and then I was a little disappointed with the ending. So I ended up just leaving it at the little book nook. So yeah, I need to eat something and I haven't had enough protein today. I feel like I'm fading a little bit. So I'm gonna make myself some veggie sausages, maybe some eggs, whatever I have left in my cupboard of confusion. I'll figure it out. But yeah, that's my little update. Hello, new angle. You're in my bathroom. Because I am about to head to get my tattoo. I'm actually gonna get 2, I think. It's a flash day and there's one that I'm sure that I want. It's a little snail and I think it's really cute and I'll show you after. But there are also 2 others that I really like. And so I'm trying to decide if I want to get one of them or the fact that I can't decide means that I just shouldn't get either. Part of the issue is if I got one, like I have no clue where I'd get it. And my tattoo is literally in an hour. So it's part of the problem. I'm not someone who needs my tattoos to like mean anything. If I like the artist and I think it looks cool, then I'll get it. But I also want to make sure that I'm not like getting tattoos just for the sake of it. I'm gonna get the snail on my ribs, side boob area. And the other, I'm not sure where I'd get. I'd either get a bike or a moon with this little bunny, which is very cute. So I'm trying to figure that out. But I'm also getting ready because whenever I go get a tattoo, I know that I'm gonna be around other cool tattooed people and I want them to think I'm cool. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to figure out what to do with my hair. I'm using you as a mirror. I also really have to go. My tattoo's in an hour. And it takes like 50 minutes to get there. Maybe I should get a face tattoo. No, right? I shouldn't do that. Should I get a tramp stamp? I kind of want one. Like a little snail tramp stamp would be cute. Allegra, no. Okay. And this is what's happening. I don't even have time to like make these pieces properly, girl. Whatever. Okay, here we go.
The longer I've waited, the more that I've tried. All the years that I've wasted trying to find it. All that I go through for my peace of mind. Let it all go out the window. No smoke in my eyes. I can hear the wind chiming. It's always been you in the back of my mind. Early blue morning when everything's cold.
Hello, you're in a new cupboard. What can I say? I just got back from my tattoo. They took like 5 minutes each, so I didn't do much filming. And I was also deciding up until literally the last second where I wanted my tattoos. I'll show you them. So this is the one I got in my arm. I love it. You can see there's some like blood under the cling film. And then this is my little snail. My phone does this thing where it like turns it off when I move it up and down, so it keeps cutting me off. But anyway, this is Franklin. I'm obsessed with him. See, it did it again. It's very annoying. Now I'm going to eat some lunch, even though it's like 3 p.m. While I was waiting for my tattoo, I got there a little late because of tube stuff. And so I had to wait a little bit because she had taken someone in front of me, which is totally fair. So I had a little bit of time to wait, so I got a coffee and read my book. And then also the bus ride home was about an hour, and I read my book on the bus as well. So I think I'm more than halfway through Near to the Wild Heart now. And I don't know if I'm gonna unhaul it, which I keep saying and then I keep getting rid of them. But specifically with Clarice Lispector books, I feel like I need to read them multiple times to fully grasp what's going on and to understand and to get everything I want out of it. So yeah, I think this one is gonna be a keep. Oh well. Yeah, that's my little update. So I ate lunch and I cleaned the house a little bit and realized that I didn't actually tell you either what Near to the Wild Heart is about or how I was enjoying it. So that's because I was hungry. Where is this book? Okay, just got to part 2. If you've read any of her books, you'll know that there usually isn't, not that there isn't a plot, but there kind of isn't a plot. It's like mostly about the writing and an exploration on certain subjects. So the back says, this tells the story of Joanna from her wild creative childhood as the little egg who writes poems from her father, through her marriage to the faithless Octavio, and on to her decision to make her own way in the world. As Joanna moves through different emotional states, different inner lives, and different truths, this impressionistic, dreamlike, and fiercely intelligent novel asks if any of us ever really know who we are. Realizing now it's Joanna, probably. So as you can kind of tell by the synopsis, it isn't really one story continuing through or one plot continuing through. She mostly just explores the inner thoughts of this person, and through this really poetic prose explores different themes. So she talks about independence, talks about creation, which is a common theme which I really connect to, the idea of translating emotion and thought into language. So here she says, no one would understand anyway. She'd think one thing and then didn't know how to tell it the same. She also says, the freedom she sometimes felt, it didn't come from clear reflections, but a state that seemed to be made of perceptions too organic to be formulated as thoughts. And kind of talks about that moment in between thought and creation, where something doesn't exist yet out in the open, so it's both nothing and everything at the same time. Honestly, I remembered enjoying it, and then I put it down for so long that in my head I thought I must not have actually been liking it that much, or I must not have been connecting to it. But once I started reading it, I got sucked back in right away. And as I was saying earlier, I just think Clarice Lispector's books deserve to be reread and to be meditated on. And that's why I don't think I'll be able to get rid of it. And now I'm going to paint my nails because I bite my nails. And so I've been trying to make sure that they're always painted so I don't bite them. What I really should be doing is packing, but that is overwhelming, so I simply won't be doing that.
I see you running, all covered in gold. There's nothing else that eases my soul. I let it all go out the window. No smoke in my eyes.
Hi, today is going to be the last day of this vlog, so I'm trying to just finish as much as I possibly can. And I went to go get coffee with a friend today. So on the way to and from, I was reading Near to the Wild Heart. I also brought this tiny little Penguin Modern, and this is The Breakthrough by Daphne du Maurier, and I finished it on the bus to and from Shoreditch. It was good. It wasn't, mind-blowing. I liked the premise. It's basically about this man who is, I believe, an electrical engineer and a scientist, and they're trying to kind of solve the mystery of what happens after death. It's really short. It's like 50 pages. I'm going to give it probably 3, maybe 3.5 stars. The thing that I love about Daphne du Maurier is her atmosphere, and this was too short to really build that much atmosphere, because usually her plots are pretty slow and rely on getting to know the characters and the environment very well. So I don't think a short story like this is the best format for her storytelling. Glad I finished it. I'm gonna unhaul it. So that's another book done. Yeah, and I'm just gonna finish packing up. Moving is so stressful. I hate packing and trying to figure out how much weight I can bring, and then also I'm taking public transport to get to the airport, obviously. So then thinking about actually walking to the train and like up the stairs and all this stuff with all of these bags. It's just, there are a lot of moving parts. So that's my little update for now. And I'll probably see you later, regardless of if I finish Near to the Wild Heart tonight. If I do, I'll give you a little update before I end this, and if not, I'll just end this vlog. But yeah, that's my plan, Stan. Hi, it's the night before I leave, and I'm back to just close out this video. I didn't end up finishing Near to the Wild Heart because I've just been packing today, and I had dinner with a friend just to say goodbye before I go. And then I didn't want to stress about finishing a book and cutting my time short with her. But since I don't think I'm going to declutter it anyway, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But overall, I'd say this was a pretty successful video. I finished 4 books, I believe, and decluttered a further 2. So let me see. I finished The English Understandable and I gave that 4 stars, and that was on my Kindle, so it didn't really count towards this challenge. I then tried to read The Binding, DNF'd that, decluttered it. Tried to read Hench, DNF'd that, decluttered it. What else? Read Last Night at the Telegraph Club, gave that 4.5 stars. Really loved it, but did end up decluttering it and leaving it at the hostel. Same with Jamaica Inn. I gave that 4 stars, really enjoyed it, but again, decluttered it. And finally read The Breakthrough by Daphne du Maurier. Ended up giving that 3 stars and decluttered that as well. That was a really small book, but you know. So honestly, I think that might be the most I've read in a week in a very, very long time. It's gonna be the end of this little reading, tattoo, cozy movie night, declutter vlog where I just tried to read as many books on my physical TBR as I could. So thanks for hanging out with me and witnessing my chaos over the last week. Thanks for keeping me company, and I'll see you next time.